Alle-Kiski Valley Hall of Fame Board of Directors, Larry Lutz.
Thank you everyone, and welcome. Thank you and welcome. This is our 53rd induction ceremony at the Alle-Kiski Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. We have a wonderful slate of candidates, inductees tonight. For the first time in our history, we're honoring 2 teams. So we're really proud of that, and hoping we have a lot more in the future. If there are any past inductees here who have not signed at the front desk, please head out there when you get a chance and make sure your name's on our list, all past inductees. I'm also asked to do the invocations, so if you can bow your heads. Lord, we thank you for all the amazing people who lived, worked, and died in the beautiful valleys of the Allegheny and Kiski rivers, who sacrificed so much so that people like us would have the opportunities that we've had and the ability to celebrate on nights like tonight. God bless all of those who are involved with this event and all of the people who came here tonight. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Next we would like kind of a somber note. We've had 2 former inductees who have passed away in the last year. On your left is Coach Al Abby Morrow. He led 2 different schools to WPIAL football championships. There you see him being taken off the field by the Plum Mustangs in 1983 at Three Rivers Stadium, and 3 years after that, in '86, he was back there with the victorious Burrow Bucks. And on the right, Gary Nelson, great basketball player, grew up in the small town of Blawnox, graduated from Fox Chapel High School. He and his twin brother, Barry, really put Fox Chapel on the basketball map, and they went on to Duquesne, where they starred there. And you heard a few weeks ago, Duquesne won their first NCAA basketball game in 50-some years. Well, the Nelson twins were part of that way back when. So if we could have a moment of silence, please, for the 2 former inductees that are now deceased. Thank you very much. Well, we mentioned earlier, this is the first time we've ever had teams inducted into the Hall of Fame, and one of the greatest of all time was the 1946 New Kensington High School football team. They won the WPIAL championship. And to accept induction, I'd like to call on the son of Willie Thrower to accept induction into the Hall, Mr. Melvin Thrower. This past October was the 70th anniversary of Melvin's father, Willie Thrower, becoming the first black quarterback in NFL history to appear in a game with the Chicago Bears in 1953. And at the time, we searched and searched around for a living member of this team. Well, we finally found one a few weeks ago, a person by the name of Jay Streckengoss. He wore number 22 on here, and he was a member of that team, and he's living age 94 in Cocoa Beach, Florida. So without further ado, let's bring on Mr. Melvin Thrower.
You hear me? Good? First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity. This is truly a blessing. And I want to thank the AK Valley Sports Hall of Fame. I'm truly honored to accept this award on behalf of this team that my father played on. This team was special. What they brought to New Kensington was something special, exciting. They brought togetherness, love, family. This is what this team was. It was led by a great man by the name of Coach Don Fletcher, who instilled these guys, who I like to call the band of brothers, because they stuck together. In that same year, 1946, not only they went undefeated, But they went to face another team from Vanderbilt that was also undefeated. You see, this team brought so much excitement to the stadium in the New Ken, where it was nothing but standing room, thousands of seats. They had to actually add additional seats to the stadium in New Ken. That's the joy and excitement that this team brought. That's what's almost unheard of thousands of people to see a game. But that's what New Ken was, and that's what this team was. Togetherness, family. You see, in that particular game, when they played Vanderbilt, they had to move the game to Ford's Field, where it holds 17,000 people because there was so much of a high demand of the game that the people wanted to see this team play. And also that year, in 1946, they got invited to the Peanut Bowl. Only one exception though. You see, during that time, it was the Jim Crow era, where prohibited blacks and whites to play on the same team, on the same field. Couldn't play each other. But there was 2 blacks on that team. My father, Willie Thrower, the first black quarterback in the NFL for the Chicago Bears in 1953, and Flint Green. And once they found out, the coach and the players, that they couldn't go, the team unanimously said, we're not going. If Willie and Flint can't go, we're not going. That's what I'm saying. Team, family, togetherness, love. That's what this team was. And not even that. In 1946 and 47, these guys won 24 games straight in a row, from 46 to 47. They went back-to-back WPI championships, 46, 47, back-to-back. And a lot of people don't know this. That same team, those same guys, Michigan State was recruiting my father, Willie Thrower, to be the quarterback. Coach Fletcher, again, team, family. You see, if you take Willie, you gotta take my other players. So they end up taking 6 of those guys. Vince Pizzano, who's his son and his daughter. Can you please wave your hands? Vince Pizzano's son and his daughter are here in the stands. Thank you, thank you. Guys like Vince Pizzano, Cam Buell, these guys went to Michigan State, and they delivered Michigan State their first national championship in 1952. And that same year, not only did they take 6, when they graduated, Michigan State passed a law where you can't recruit no more than 6 players from the same team on the same state, because it takes away from other schools in the states as well. So they actually passed the law. That law still stands today. So that's why this team is so special. They brought something to New Ken that I've never seen. Of course, I wasn't born, but I've heard the stories where there was no race, there was no black and white. It was just family, it was just love, it was just togetherness. That's what this team was, and that's what this team brought. So again, I'm honored. I'm actually blessed to speak and accept this award on their behalf, and I hope I did them proud. As my father, Vince Pizzano's his kids, we thank you. And one of the first teams being inducted, this is why this team's special. Another first team being inducted, I thank you, and I'm honestly honored and blessed to be here. Thank you.
Our next inductee, famous for running sports, particularly cross country, is a high schooler at Kiski area and at Carnegie Mellon University, and later has become the highly successful coach of the Freeport High School cross country team. Let's introduce our next inductee, Melissa Bostert Schaefer.
Good evening, everyone, honored guests, fellow inductees, and my family and friends. Thank you to the committee for this incredible honor. Being inducted into the Alle-Kiski Sports Hall of Fame is truly humbling, and it has made me reflect upon the deep, profound gratitude I have for the people who've made this journey possible. First and foremost, my deepest thanks go to my parents. Their unwavering support has been the foundation for everything I've achieved. Mom and Dad made tremendous personal and financial sacrifices so I could chase my dreams, and for that, I am eternally grateful. To my husband Joel, siblings, grandparents, aunts, and cousins, I can't thank you enough for the countless miles you traveled across the state and even the country to cheer me on while pursuing my dreams. Those dreams started at Kiski Area High School in 9th grade with Bill Hawley, my high school algebra teacher. You might say he's the one who started this whole equation. He saw something in me, a scrawny freshman, and nudged me towards the track. That nudge changed the course of my life. Coach Hawley sadly isn't with us tonight, but his influence and his dedication to his athletes lives on in every runner he coached. He wasn't just passionate about the sport, he was a true student of it. Coach Hawley spent countless hours researching training methods and event-specific techniques. He meticulously crafted meet lineups and practice schedules to optimize our performance. He analyzed videos of our races, constantly seeking ways to help us improve. He embodied the spirit of a lifelong learner, and that's a lesson I still carry with me today. Coach Hawley taught me the value of hard work, of pushing past my limits, and finding joy in that challenge. Coach George Argos introduced me to the world of cross country and opened doors to collegiate running. He wasn't afraid to be tough and push us past our perceived limits. But that toughness came from a place of genuine care. GA, as we called him, wasn't only invested in our athletic success, but also in us as people. It's a testament to his character that I'm lucky enough to call him a friend today. Coach Dario Donatelli at Carnegie Mellon University recognized my potential for long distance running and instilled in me a love for the sport that went beyond places and times. It became about personal growth, strategy, and the bond of teammates. His influence has been profound. He wasn't just a great coach, he genuinely cared about our well-being as students, navigating a challenging time. Transitioning from Kiski area to Carnegie Mellon, a prestigious and demanding university, was intimidating. Coach Donatelli helped me not only to adjust to the academic rigor, but also gain the confidence to excel in the classroom, as well as on the track and cross-country course. He even guided me towards my dream of becoming a teacher and a coach, where I could inspire others like my coaches and high school teachers who inspired me. In 2021, Dario and I were inducted into the Carnegie Mellon Athletic Hall of Fame together. That's something that fills me with immense pride. He became and still is a true friend. Looking back, I wasn't the most naturally gifted runner, but I had a passion and I had coaches who fanned the flame into a fire. It's a fire I carry with me today, not only as a runner, but also as a teacher at my alma mater, Kiski area, and a coach at Freeport High School. Those same values I learned on the track, discipline, perseverance, teamwork, I strive to impart in my students and in my athletes. It's more than just about winning meets or getting good grades. It's about building character, about fostering a love of learning, of pushing yourself to be your best. It is incredibly rewarding to see that spark ignite in my students and athletes' eyes the same way it did in mine so many years ago. Seeing my own children, Jacob and Aaron, embrace both running and lifelong learning fills me with immense pride. Erin, or Hurtler, just like her mom, is about to embark on her own journey at Slippery Rock High School, running track, hurdling, and majoring in math. It's a beautiful circle, this life of athletics and academics. This honor, this induction into the AK Valley Sports Hall of Fame, is a tribute not to me, but to the incredible people who shaped me. It's a testament to the power of support, mentorship, and believing in someone's potential. That's why I'm most proud to be standing here, not just as an athlete, but as a teacher and coach myself. Seeing the spark of determination in my students' eyes, the same way coaches Bill Hawley, George Argos, and Dario Donatelli saw in mine. It is the most rewarding feeling in the world. Who knows? Maybe someday one of them will be standing right here thanking their coaches for being the influence that makes a difference. Thank you. Thank you.
Now let's meet a couple of our accomplished student athletes. First of all, the Valley News Dispatch Soccer Player of the Year from 2023, Male Soccer Player of the Year from Springville High School. Where else? They've had so much success in soccer over the years. Let's bring on Billy Lawrence. Billy is an honors student at Springville High School with a 3.85 GPA. In soccer, he was on section champions as a freshman and a senior, WPIAL quarterfinalist. In 10th and 12th grade, WPIAL semifinalist. In 9th and 11th, club soccer, 8th through 11th grade, captain 11th and 12th grade. He lettered 4 times and was the team's leading goal scorer each of the past 4 seasons. He was Rookie of the Year as a 9th grader, and all WPIAL 4 straight years and all section 4 straight years, the MVP in 11th and 12th grade, and section player of the year this past fall, and WPIAL player of the year. He made the all-state team and was the WPIAL class single A player of the year and the Trib standout players we mentioned of the year. His hobbies are fishing, disc golf, camping, soccer, kayaking, spending time with family and friends. He's been involved in the Harmer Soccer Club for 14 years, and he volunteers for Fun and Freedom, Little Dribblers, Big Dan's Dog Park, the Harmer Soccer Field, and the Lower Valley Food Bank. And starting in the fall, Billy will be attending Lock Haven University and continue his soccer career. Springdale High School's Billy Lawrence. Next, our Valley News Dispatch Female Soccer Player of the Year from Riverview High School, Lola Abraham. Lola was on the High Honor Roll 9th through 12th grade. She's a member of the National Honor Society, 10th grade Society of Women Engineers, Certificate of Merit, 11th grade Academic All-American, and various Model United Nations awards. Riverview Soccer, now they didn't have a season in 2020, as you know, due to the COVID epidemic, but she's made up for lost time since then. She was captain 10th through 12th grade, also all section, all WPIAL, and she in 12th grade was the leading scorer in the WPIAL regular season and playoff season. And 10th through 12th grade has been the AK Valley Player of the Week, 12th grade All-State, 12th grade Post-Gazette Player of the Year, along with being the Tribune Review Valley News Dispatch Player of the Year, and the 2024 Mo Rosenstein Most Outstanding Player of the Year Award, 12th grade Post-Gazette Player of the Week, and they were the WPIAL runners-up last year, and also the state runners-up. Riverview made it all the way to the state finals this year. In basketball, she was all section in 11th grade. In track and field, she was 5th place in 11th grade in the WPIAL medal in the 4x4 relay, which qualified for the states. In 10th grade, she was 6th place in the WPIAL long jump. 9th grade, she was 8th place in the WPIAL medalist in the 4x4 relay. And in 9th grade, 7th place in the WPIAL triple jump. She's been part of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds Development Academy for that soccer club. And she, besides everything else, she plays in the jazz band. She's been in the marching band and the concert band as a percussionist in 12th grade. She was the vice president of the organization, a percussionist in the jazz band, and a violinist in the orchestra. Is there anything you can't do? And besides that, in volunteer activities, she's a volunteer in Oakmont Borough for the Oakmont Borough Summer Street Fair. Has participated in the youth basketball camp as a volunteer and the Twin Boroughs Soccer Club from 2021 until the present. And she was active in the Kerr Memorial Museum from 2021 to the present. Also Toys for Tots. We mentioned the Pittsburgh Riverhounds Academy and Top Soccer 2017 through the present. Also the Relay for Life, which Oakmont and Riverview is very big on. And coming in the fall, she has earned a scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh, and she will major in engineering from Riverview High School. Lola Abraham. Next, we have a posthumous inductee, Ellen Toy. For many, many years, was a standout volleyball player. Went to the University of Pittsburgh on a volleyball scholarship. Has coached girls volleyball teams to success at Plum, her alma mater, Kiski area, and of course Leechburg. She was an educator for many, many years before she unfortunately passed away after a courageous battle with cancer in 2016. And to accept induction into the Alle-Kiski Valley Sports Hall of Fame, let's call on her husband, Mr. Tim Toy.
Thank you, George. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Hall of Fame for this wonderful opportunity. I've been asked now on a number of occasions to accept similar awards in honor of Ellen. Every time it's challenging and humbling. I do not belong on a stage with these people. Well, unless, hear me out, you start to include street hockey as a legitimate sport. Anybody? No? All right. Well, congrats to all of tonight's honorees, and especially Ellen's dear friend and classmate at both Kiski area and Pitt, Anthony Racky. Attaboy, Mouse. I want to thank my posse for showing up like they always do again tonight, especially my children, Allie and Mason, my mom, Marie, my mother-in-law, Eleanor, Ellen's siblings, my brothers, and my sister, and my sister-in-laws, and my wife, Audrey. Also, I'd like to mention tonight Jim Joyce and his family. Jim has been instrumental in helping me organize the We Serve First All-Star Classic. And it does a great job of getting funds for us to help kids with the We Serve First Foundation. Again, every time I do this, it becomes an exploration in emotion and remembrance. Each time I struggle to bring something new. At a recent All-Star event, I stumbled into an angle that I'd like to mention tonight. I asked the players how many of them have ever actually met Ellen, and no one had. It's been 8 years now. These kids likely don't have any idea who Ellen Toy is. Such is the march of time, yet each of them carries the spirit of her along with them into each gym that they enter. Allow me to explain the coaching tree. Ellen was coached by many amazing people. They all formed the roots of her coaching tree. Colleen Herbeck instilled a love of volleyball in her, and she handed her over to the legendary Mike Hebert. Ray Rowley and Shelton Collier came along. She then coached with Mike Larko, replaced the irreplaceable Sharon Watson for a spell, and worked alongside sisters Barry Ellen Ferragonia and Charlotte Fisher. With these fine roots, the coaching tree would become strong. But all trees also have branches. Ellen coached many players who then became coaches. Jenny McDowell, Jill Rascator, Eve Hebron, Kate McCauley, and Rachel Carter. She coached with Jody McCartney, Dan Clare, and Maggie Nichols, and the list is far longer than this. Western Pennsylvania is lucky because it's littered with great volleyball minds who have also been peers of Ellen's. Tom Phillips, the Millers, the Shawls, the Browns. These branches allow the tree to continue to grow and thrive. There is a great likelihood that this generation, and many more to come, will feel her influence, So in that way, she lives on. I think it's good to remember that as coaches and community members. We have the power to influence lives well beyond the ones we interact with and far beyond the years that we are given here. The world is a better place because Ellen learned from these people before her, these great coaches, and she took the best of those lessons and applied them herself. And then those players are going to take those lessons on with them. I'm certain each of the players who thought they'd never met her have felt her influence, and I hope that they learned to love the game of volleyball as she did. You could ask all of the family members that I mentioned earlier, all the students that Ellen taught, all of the athletes that she played with or coached, and each of them might use a different word to describe Ellen. Words like kindness, honor, fairness, love, grace, commitment, joy, and courage, and determination. I could go on all night, but I could boil it down to two: resilience and compassion. Where those two words meet, we find another important trait. That is understanding. When it's hard to be compassionate, use resilience and do it anyway. When it's hard to be resilient, be compassionate and be resilient anyway. It's there that you will find true understanding. We need these three descriptors more than ever right now. Compassion plus resilience equals understanding. Be like Ellen today and always. Again, thank you so much to the AK Hall of Fame for this recognition for Ellen and remembering her tonight with this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for accepting induction for Ellen. Next, let's meet a couple of the fine football players we have in the Alle-Kiski Valley this past season. Derek Burke of Deer Lakes High School. Derek was the 2023 Valley News Dispatch Offensive Football Player of the Year. The Deer Lakes quarterback is an honor roll student. He was two-time team captain and the all-time Deer Lakes passing leader. And as if that's not enough, he's the all-time Alle-Kiski Valley career passing leader. He was the Offensive Player of the Year, Athlete of the Month during his junior and senior year. His hobbies are golf and weightlifting and volunteer activities. He participates in the St. Victor's Fish Fry, the Deer Lakes Youth Baseball Program, and youth football and basketball. And he will be attending Edinburgh University for football starting in the fall. And also, Derek and his teammates this past fall became the first Deer Lakes football team ever to win a WPIAL playoff game. From Deer Lakes High School, Derek Burke. Next, sticking with football, our Defensive Player of the Year from Highlands High School, Luke Bombelski. Luke was 3 years first team all-conference at the linebacker position. And of course, as we mentioned, AK Valley Defensive Player of the Year, most tackles in a single season in Highlands history. You consider all the great defensive players Highlands has had over the past 50-plus years to be the all-time leading tackler in a single season is something else. And on the offensive side of football, the second all-time leader in rushing yardage in Highlands history. He was a 4-year letterman in varsity football, and his hobbies include golfing, hunting, and fishing, and he is a volunteer firefighter. From Highlands High School, Luke Bombelski. Our next inductee one of the many, many inductees we have who played football for the great coach Chuck Wagner. He also, after playing at Riverview, continued on his stellar athletic journey at Westminster College. Let's call on our next inductee, Scott Higgins.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, my first thought as I get up here is I wish I would have submitted a different picture, honestly. But not much I can do about that now. So, no, seriously, I'd like to start off by thanking the committee, and specifically Freddie Solis over here. Freddie, thank you for your nomination, and also for your patience. You know, when Freddie called me a few months ago to discuss my nomination, I hesitated, and the reason I hesitated was because there are several former coaches and teammates of mine that are already in the Hall of Fame. People like Chuck Wagner, Al Kennedy, Jack Schmidt, and Bob Rukavina are both here this evening. Thanks, guys, for coming out. And these are guys that I've known for a long time, very familiar with what they've accomplished in their careers and why they're in the Hall of Fame. And so I just wanted to take a step back and feel comfortable that the things that I had done measured up and merited Freddie's nomination. So after a little bit of back and forth, right, Fred? You know, in a discussion with my wife, you know, I'm happy to be here tonight joining my teammates and my former coaches. So, you know, growing up, sports was very important to me. If I wasn't going to a game, a Pirate game with my dad or something like that, I was normally playing a game. Anything with a ball, I was interested in, whether it was dodgeball, kickball, wiffle ball, Nerf football, for those of you who remember Nerf football, puck basketball. You know, I just like to compete. And as my mother, who's here tonight, will probably tell you, I really like to win. I wasn't such a good loser. And I can tell you now, at 62 years old, I still like to compete, but I really like to win. And I know this because each Saturday I get together with some good friends, and we have a little golf match. And a lot of these guys are sitting right over here. And it's great to be out with those guys, you know, getting some exercise and enjoying their companionship. But I really want to win when we go out there. Now, I'd like to think I handled the losing a lot better than I did 40 or 50 years ago. But I think most of them feel the same way. And we just enjoy the competition. You know, if you win that match on that Saturday afternoon and you shake hands on the green, you know, the ride home's a little bit better. You know, you feel you know, a little bit better when you come in the next week, maybe with some bragging rights, and you get to do it all over again. So as I think about it, I'm not sure that it feels as good as beating Springdale or Geneva when I was in high school and college. But you know, at this stage of my life, it still feels pretty doggone good. So it's what I have to look forward to. You know, growing up in the 70s as a sports fan, it was great, wasn't it? For those of you of my age, 4 Super Bowls, 2 World Series, a big football national championship. I didn't realize how good it was. You know, I was in high school, I was playing sports all the time. When I got out of college, I took a job with Ford Motor Company, and my wife Beth and I, we left the area. We were gone for about 15 years, and we lived in Denver, we lived in Minneapolis, we lived in Detroit. These are all great cities, great sports towns. I have really good sports memories in those cities. But what I didn't have was, you know, connection with the high school sports, and specifically my high school and my college. You know, this was long before the internet, so it was tough to keep tabs on those things back then if you weren't local. And so when we returned to the area in 2000, we settled in the South Hills, Peters Township. Now, my kids were coming up through the recreational leagues and getting involved in junior high and high school sports. And I got involved in Peters Township basketball. And, you know, it was just so much fun to get back in the gymnasium and to go to high school games and see the enthusiasm. And being local gave me an opportunity to reconnect with both Riverview and Westminster. And, you know, it was always great to go back to those places where I have such good memories. And, you know, to this day, although my kids are long past their high school and college years, I still try to get back to Riverview and Westminster whenever I can to catch a game here and there. It's always great to go back to those places. I enjoy that. I said earlier, competition is why probably I like to, you know, participate in athletics. And, you know, being a part of teams all these years, one of the byproducts is, you know, you establish lifelong friendships and relationships. And, you know, as I look at my guest list tonight, and I look over here to the people that have come out to support me tonight, you know, I feel very fortunate, and I thank all of you people for coming out here tonight, giving up your Saturday evening to be here. I'd like to recognize and thank two of my oldest friends, Marty Kennedy and Ross Arcuri, who are both here tonight. First, thank them for their friendship. Second, for helping me organize my tickets for tonight's event. And third, something I just added is the $4 I took from them this Thursday when we played golf. So thanks guys, I appreciate that. My mother, my father, and my sister, I have to thank them for all the late dinners, the rides to practice, the Saturday afternoons they gave up while I was in high school and college. It was always great to see them after a game, win or lose. I could probably count on one hand the number of games they missed when I was in high school and college. They were always there for me. They always supported me, and it was a lot of fun competing and having them there. As a matter of fact, when I was in college, one of my baseball teammates questioned if my dad actually had a job because he came to so many of my 1 o'clock doubleheaders during college. So yes, it was a lot of fun. I mentioned my wife earlier. She and I have been together a long time. We were married in 1986, but our first date was 1978 when I asked her to go to the Riverview High School Christmas dance. Now, I actually hobbled to that dance on a sprained ankle. I think Coach Schmidt over here ran us through a tough practice that afternoon, but it gave me the perfect cover for not dancing at the dance that night. And we've been together ever since. She was always been there for me. She found a way to get from IUP up into Wilmington each Saturday afternoon, come to my football games. She didn't even have a car, but somehow she made her way up there. And, I always appreciated that, but in all the years we've been together, the best thing we've done are our 3 children who are all here tonight. My daughter Samantha, my 2 sons Alexander and Matthew. Thank you guys for being here tonight. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. So in closing, I'd just like to say, I was fortunate. I lived out a childhood dream when in 1984, I signed a free agent contract with the Cleveland Browns. And ironically, Mr. Recchi, to my left, was there with me in that camp. At this point in my life, sometimes I think back and I wonder how things might have been different had I been good enough to make the team and actually play in the NFL. And then I realized I don't think things could have been any better. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to say hello to the Valley News Dispatch Boys Basketball Player of the Year, Billy Schaefer from Deer Lakes High School. Billy is a member of the National Honor Society along with the National Technical Honor Society, Vice President there, Skills USA School-wide President, 4 times A.W. Beatty Student of the Month, 3 times Deer Lakes Athlete of the Month. He was a 1,000-point scorer, 2-time WPI AL 3A champion, 2023 PIAA 3A runner-up team. Deer Lakes made it all the way to the state finals, and the Valley News Dispatch first team of 2023. And he mentioned Valley News Dispatch Player of the Year, KDKA Player of the Week, Skills USA Western Regional Student of the Year, Basketball and Track Letterman, and a KDKA Super 7 finalist. His hobbies are running, lifting, and playing the guitar. Maybe Lola can let you in her jazz band. And he really is the only person in the last 86 years to start on back-to-back WPIAL basketball champions in AK Valley history. Deer Lakes won it the last 2 years. Hadn't been done since Ford City won it back-to-back years, 1937 and 38. So from Deer Lakes High School, Billy Schaefer. Next, we have a winner of 2 awards this evening. 1 award wasn't enough for Julie Spinelli at St. Joseph High School. Julie will be awarded as the Valley News Dispatch Girls Basketball Player of the Year and an MVP in the recent Cager Classic. Julie has been on the high honor roll at St. Joe's 4 consecutive years. We mentioned she was the Valley News Dispatch Girls Player of the Year for this past season and Player of the Year last season. So she's a repeat person here. She wasn't here last year. I think you had an all-star game, if I'm not mistaken. So we belatedly congratulate Julie on her 2023 accomplishments. She was girls basketball first team for the Dispatch in 2021-22. And the previous season, she scored 1,000 points. It was all-section basketball all 4 seasons, all-section in softball 3 years in a row, and all-section in volleyball. Basketball team was, of course, the WPIAL 1A runner-up this past year, and Section 3 champions for the past 2 seasons. And her teams made the WPIAL semifinals the previous 2 seasons. Her hobbies? Naturally, volleyball, basketball, and softball. She's a volunteer at the St. Joseph High School Youth Basketball Camp. And in the fall, she will attend Frostburg State University to play basketball and major in business. From St. Joseph High School, Julie Spinelli. Our next inductee was a multi-sport athlete at Kiski Area High School. Tony Recchia led the Cavaliers to some outstanding football seasons, and he became a walk-on at the University of Pittsburgh, hunted for some great Panthers teams who went to New Year's Day bowl games, the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl. And he later on had a chance, as we mentioned earlier, with the Cleveland Browns, signed a free agency contract for their camp that season. So let's call on our next inductee, graduate of Kiski Area High School and the University of Pittsburgh, Anthony Recchia.
As you notice, I have a lot of names. Tony, Anthony, Mouse. I have a lot of names. So Tim, you asked me to tell a few stories. Let me know if I pass the test. So to the AK Sports Hall of Fame Committee, thank you. This is such an honor for including me with all these great inductees and the previous inductees from the past. Oh, you can't hear me. How about that? Is that a little better? Okay, sorry. Thank you. How's that? That made up for the first sentence. I also wanted to congratulate one of my best friends, Mark McLeod. He's the inductee of this as well, and to join him is really humbling. He was also inducted into the Pittsburgh Basketball Hall of Fame. We're best friends. We work together, and he's a Hall of Fame person. So thank you, Mark. He's not here. Okay, I'm 0 for 1. Mark, all right. So I do have his brother Todd is here, and he's supposed to be here honoring his brother Todd. So we gotta have a sit down. Maybe we'll answer a conference call on Monday morning. But I knew this was a really cool honor, but when it happened, like my phone was going off like fireworks. It was really cool. I had to like look up some of the names of people I didn't even know who they were. So that was really neat. It was about 125 texts I got. So really cool. And thanks to Mark Natowski for writing an incredible sports article on the trip. Wow, thank you very much. It made me look good. I was honored at this event in 1979 as the 6-star final champion, and I received a plaque, so maybe I'm the second person that gets 2 plaques, along with the young lady here that just had 2 awards. So that was 45 years ago, though. You weren't even born. But I enjoyed, at Kiski, I enjoyed competing in all sports. And I never passed anybody's eye test like Mac McNabb, one of the greatest guards I ever played against at Valley. We're a little on the shorter side, 5'9", 165. You were 5'8". I need to just call out my coaches from high school, Dick Dills, Frank Murray, and Ken Fazio is here tonight. Thank you so much for coming, Coach. It's awesome to see you. You're the best. Thank my family for coming. And Sam Henderson, thank you. He pulled me aside and said, hey, I just came to see you tonight He was throwing me around in a pool when I was like 4 years old at the Elks pool. Sam Henderson, his brother Dude Henderson from Kiski. Great men, thank you. I've been lucky and blessed to have these opportunities to compete at Kiski Area High School and the University of Pittsburgh, especially during the powerhouse days of Pitt. And I was fortunate to be a part of some great Pitt teams and with some great NFL players and Hall of Famers. And the most important thing I got from it was a great network of friends and many special opportunities and experiences. I'm very active with all of them today. Lifelong friends and just so many experiences. Thank you to all my high school coaches and my Pitt coaches and the AK Valley Sports Hall of Fame, including me in with all these great athletes honored here tonight. I'm deeply honored. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to you folks and everybody here to come and let me be part of your evening and tell my story. Thank you for coming to honor all these inductees tonight. It's awesome. And these young folks over here. I want to say these young kids, wow, you got it. I never did that much stuff.
We're very pleased this evening to have 19 former inductees join us for our event. And I'm going to announce your name and ask you to please stand, and for the sake of brevity, please hold your applause until the end. Dave Thompson, 2013 inductee. Ron McNabb, who will meet in a couple of minutes. Jack Schmidt, 2004 inductee. Jim Perry from 2007. Paul Killian, Dr. Paul Killian from 2019. Tom Stabile from 2001. B.B. Flannery from 1997. Terry Priest from 2022. Benji Pryor from 2008. Cliff Guy, a 2005 inductee. John McLeod from 2015. William Skinner from 2010. William Skip Bonner from 2012. Jay Kumar from 2014. And Dave Maloney, Springdale High School Hall of Fame soccer coach, inductee from 1981. Bob Brookovina, 2019 inductee. Tim Basilone from 2005. And Diane Haney from 2022. Also Tom Giotto from Kiski area. Scheduled to come this evening, and we've already met Larry Lutz. So let's hear it for our inductees who are returning to And our second team induction of the evening goes out to the Valley High School basketball team from 1979. And while Matt McNabb is on his way up to accept induction for his teammates, we want to show you the last few moments of Valley in 1979 at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, becoming one of only 3 AK Valley teams in history to win a state high school basketball championship. You know, the first 12 years of Valley High School, Valley won an unbelievable 232 basketball games, and we bring on now, master of many of those basketball victories, to accept induction. Here is Ron Mac McNabb.
A good friend of mine called me several months ago, Fred Solis, and he told me about this, and I told him, Fred, I'm really uncomfortable speaking in front of groups. And he said, listen, I do this for a living. He said, just do what I do. So I sit right across from him, and when Fred took a sip of his water, I would take a sip of my water. When Fred wiped his mouth, I would wipe my mouth. all right? Fred took a bite of his food, I took a bite of my food. At the end of dinner, I saw Fred pick up the silverware and put it in his pocket. I realized. My teammates and I are extremely thankful to the AK Valley Hall of Fame. We are humbled, we are honored by this induction. I'm very proud to be here. I know my teammates that, Billy came the whole way from Vegas, and Tom McLeod came from New Jersey, and Del Parsons came from Chicago, and I know they were very excited to come here, and just getting together with these guys again from 45 years ago, it's just been an awesome evening, and I know we all appreciate that. Before I go on, there's two people that I must mention tonight that unfortunately could not be here, and that is Goose Pryor, who had passed away, and Chipper Harris, who are very good friends of mine, very good friends of all of ours, great basketball players, and great teammates. And there's not many days that go by that I don't think of both those guys. And believe me, none of us would be here tonight without those two, because they were that good. And they were just excellent teammates and better friends. Chipper and I played Little League Baseball together, and we've been friends since we were 10 or 11. And Goose was just another outstanding player that we were blessed to have on our team. As I said, it was great seeing so many of my teammates. But before that, Donnie Abel and Del Parsons and I got together, and we still can't understand how Billy Varner started for us, because he was an average player. And he couldn't shoot, he couldn't rebound, and he should have been sitting on the bench. Like Vern always used to say, you think he washed Coach Patterson and Coach Elias's car. But seriously, Billy might have been, no, I would take that back. Billy was probably the best player in WPIL, if not the best player in the state. He was that good. And, when I think back to some of the things that Billy accomplished and helped lead us to the state championship, it was incredible. And to this day, I call Billy one of my very, very best friends, and I love him to death. Billy, would you please stand up, please? I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some people in this room that were very instrumental in us winning the state championship. B.B. Flannery, who has a very special place in my heart for all the help that he gave me growing up. Benji Pryor, Cliff Guy, these guys that would beat on us all the time. Billy, you know that. They beat on us down to JFK all the time. But they were always there for an encouraging word. And actually, that team may have been better than our team. They were that good. Billy, or BB, and Jim, and Cliffy, and Ben. But those guys were very instrumental in our success because of all the help that they gave us growing up. And again, I don't think we would win a state championship without the lessons that those guys taught us down on the courts. There's a lot of state championship teams now that have players from all over. Some of them even come from New Jersey. And, they come from 5 or 6 different zip codes. Our state championship team, literally, we all lived within 2 or 3 miles of each other. I remember walking to Billy's house. Del Parsons literally lived 200 yards from me. Vern lived right up over the hill from me. And we were all that close. So it was truly a hometown team. And we came together and, and it was a very selfless team. Nobody cared that Billy would get his 30 points or Goose would get his 30 points. We were extremely selfless. And the guys that pushed us in practice, Todd and Vern and Donnie Abel, just pushed us and pushed us and pushed us in practice. And with the best teammates you could have. All they cared about was winning and losing. They didn't ever complain about playing time. They were there to make us better. We truly loved one another. We truly did. And after all these years, we are still best friends. Before the state championship game down at the Civic Arena, Abe came up to me and said, when we win this game, I'm picking you up and carrying you. And after the game, somebody wrapped me up in a bear hug and carried me around Civic Arena. I don't know if you remember that, but he did that. And he was truly happy for our success, and I don't know that he played 5 minutes that game. So we were blessed with a great coaching staff and great teammates. Sharon Bain, Krista Mayo, cheerleaders, they made this trip home to come see us. And like I said, it was just an extremely close-knit group that we had at Valley High School. We're very blessed for that. My parents, Dale, Abe, all of us had great parents that were very supportive and took us to our summer league games and took us to our practices, and it was just a wonderful experience with a great group of guys and a great group of basketball players. So again, I would like to thank the AK Hall of Fame for tonight. Again, it's an awesome evening, an awesome experience, and I know I'm speaking for my teammates and said we are all honored by this. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee, who started his baseball climb around 1960 from what was then known as the Hard Rock High School area. And he's had quite a career in baseball, not only as a player, but a highly regarded coach for Highlands High School. And he's one of the few people you can say in Little League he hit a home run off Bob Moose, and also in softball, he hit a home run off the great Eddie Fader. So let's call on our next inductee, Fred Paganelli.
Thank you, George. You stole half my speech, but that's okay. Good evening. It's an honor to be here. Just about everything in my life is somehow related to baseball. When I was 75 years ago, I was 5 years old, I used to hit rubber balls. Where'd you hide it, George?
Down there, third row.
With this wooden bat. For the boys who played baseball, we did use wood then. So this is the bat I used when I was 5. I hit the rubber balls, and eventually I was pretending most of all that I was Mickey Mantle in Yankee Stadium, hitting a home run. Well, I lost the gumballs and would whine as I usually was good at doing, and my neighbor brought out a sack of potatoes, and she pitched them to me until I hit them until they were all mashed. I moved on to Little League, as George mentioned. I hit a home run off Bob Moose when we were 12 in an all-star game, but what I remember the most about Little League are the good coaches who stressed fundamentals at that time. When I was 13, I moved on to Pony League. I had Don Bushman for a coach. And after a couple days of practice, he called me over from the bench and he says, "Freddie, get over here. Do you know what CYA is?" I said, "Yeah, Catholic Youth Association." He says, "Well, you know, we're allowed to have 5 non-Catholics. You're Italian, right?" And I said, "Yes." "But you're not a Catholic." I said, "No." "Well, we're only allowed to have 5 of your sort, so if anybody asks you, you are a Catholic." My high school years from 64 to 66, I had Ed Schmidt as our JV coach, as a member of the Hall of Fame. Dr. Nick Starcenik was a varsity coach. He's also a member in the Hall of Fame. Then our senior year, Ed Schmidt became the varsity coach. And in his first year with us, he won the Section 3A championship. Go Tigers. The summer season, 64 to 66, I spent playing for Lower Borough Legion. It was made up of Harbrack and Arnold players mostly. There were a few sprinkled in from Lower Borough. And our 65 team won the Westmoreland County Championship. We then moved on to Allentown to play for the state championship. We lost our first game to South Scranton 10-1, but eventually won the next 5 games to win the championship. It was quite a feat, and at the end of that season, I received a feeler from Point Park College. Next year, 66, with the Westmoreland, we won the Westmoreland County Championship again. We received recognition from winning that state title and got an invitation to play a doubleheader at Forbes Field against the Little Pirates. I was the leadoff batter, and I'll never forget walking into Forbes Field, looking at right field, looking at that roof, 457 feet away was center field. I just couldn't imagine somebody hitting the baseball that far. And as I went up to the batter's box, and I'm a left-handed batter, I stood in there just looking that, hey, this is where Mickey Mantle stood when he played in a 60 World Series. And I'm daydreaming, and finally I hear, "Son, can we get started?" It was the umpire, and I said, okay. Well, I spent the rest of that, 1 month of that summer at the end, working at Allegheny-Ludlam. Then I figured, hey, I better take that feeler and see what's going on at Point Park. Well, I made the team at Point Park in the spring of 66. I hit .327, and I met my future wife, Joanne. Guess where we went on our first date? Forbes Field. Yes. She was thrilled, believe me. Sophomore, my fall season, we got a new coach, Frank Gustine. He played for the Pirates for several years, made the All-Star team twice at 2 different infield positions. He liked to tell stories. He taught us of a $100,000 roommate combination he and Kiner made with the first $100,000 combination of that type. He made $90,000 and I made 10. We changed my whole hitting approach. He wanted me to hit the ball to left center field, and center field take advantage of my speed. So when you know it, the first game in the spring after all that training, we're playing Steubenville, and I hit a home run. It was the longest ball I ever hit in my life. Just to keep me in place, he came over, he patted me in the back. He said, "Nice job, Freddie, but remember, left field, center field, and run." Junior year, we made it to the NAI playoffs. It was the first time in the school history that a team made a NAIA playoff in a 4-year program. We won the first 2 games the first day. That was the best day I ever had in college during the baseball career. I had 6 hits and 7 at-bats, 2 walks, but guess what? The next day we lost both games, and we were out. We cried, didn't we, Dave Thompson? Senior year, last year, I hit .457 in the fall. I like the fall weather. It was warm, you weren't freezing your butt off out there in the spring. So we make the NAI playoffs again. We are the number 1 seed. The games were going to be in Pittsburgh. However, a bombshell hit. We had 1 game left with IUP. And in that game, in my second at bat, I hit a single up the middle. And the next thing I heard was, "You're out," the first base umpire. Well, when I hit that single to center field, they went 8 to 4 to 3. Coming out of the batter's box, I tore the cartilage in my knee, and I was done. So I did graduate, thank goodness. Got a job at Highlands, and I was fortunate to get a coaching job with Mr. Schmidt and Highlands baseball. That year, I helped as a varsity and JV assistant. The varsity won the section, and they went on to the WPL championship game at Three River Stadium. So in the dugout, we're looking around, and all of a sudden there are these three big dudes. And we're looking at them. It turned out to be Terry Bradshaw, Joe Green, and Ben McGee. And they were talking to the young athletes, and one of the boys said to Mr. Schmidt, "They should not be in our dugout." And Schmidt says, "Well, you go over and tell them to get out." Well, I coached 15 years of JV baseball. In 1985, I became the varsity coach at Highlands. I knew what I wanted for our baseball program, and I requested more varsity assistants. And it worked out. They had to get their clearances and everything, so 4 people, Ray Kerr, who became our pitching coach, coached third base. Ed Push was the batting coach, catchers. Chaz Simone, outfielder, did the drills, coached first base, umpire, agitator. Dave Duback also helped with the pitching. So these fellas worked with me for the next 12 years. We updated the equipment and repetitions. Field renovations were needed, and we formed a diamond club. And every bit of money that we raised was used only and only for equipment, and equipment that would bring out better play with the players. The players wanted this too, so the equipment and the renovations. Practices, we made them harder than what the game situation would be, putting pressure on them during practice to perform, so it wasn't anything new in the game. We covered situations regularly. Basically, our expectations for the young men were be on time, wear your hats the right way, tuck the shirt tails in, detention's not acceptable, and only coaches can debate with umpires. They were expected to represent their school and the community, and we stuck with that very closely. Given all of this, really the 5 section titles that we won, 4 second place finishes, were 9 in 12 years. But really, it was the ball players and the young men who deserve all that hard work. And I want to thank, I've met some of you here this evening. Thank you, fellas. I really appreciate the time you put into the baseball program. I'd like to thank the AK Valley Sports Hall of Fame for this evening. Bill Heasley, George Guido for their personal advice. Ted Cernesto for that Tribune article. That really meant a lot to my family. A lot of people brought it to our attention. It was just a nice thing, Ted. Thank you. Chaz Simone Jr. for his nomination and his humor. Just kept everything loose. I don't know about any of you other nominees, but man, I was nervous for 6 weeks. To my friends, classmates, my sisters, Bev, Alberta, Debbie, family members, my daughter Lisa and her husband, Sean, Chrissy, her husband Mike, and Michael and Chrissy, and our youngest, Gina, for her inspiration that she gives me every day. And my wife of 54 years, Joanne. Just talking with the fellas this evening, it's an incredible amount that is thrown onto the family members. It's a lot of time that we take, practice, games, traveling, things that they give up for us. And it's really important to have that on your side, because without that, it'd be almost impossible. I can't imagine it. So once again, everybody, thank you.
Next, let's say hello to one of our Cager Classic MVPs, Cameron Regard, senior from Highlands High School. Cam is a member of the National Honor Society. He has a 4.0 grade point average. He lettered 4 times in basketball, 3 times in soccer, and a letter in cross country. He was a 1,000 point scorer in basketball at Highlands. He was a leading scorer for 3 seasons in soccer, and 2-time member of the Roundball Classic All-Star team. We mentioned he's MVP of the Cager Classic, 2nd team All-Section in basketball, and a 2-time triathlete, Offensive Player of the Year for soccer, and 3-time Athlete of the Week. His hobbies are traveling, working on cars, organizations he's belonged to, besides the National Honor Society, Caveman Basketball, the International Club, the PBIS, the Highlands High School Student Cabinet. Volunteer activities include the Beast Mode, local youth basketball program, and grass cutting. And he will attend an NIACC college to play basketball and study international business and Spanish. From Highlands High School, Cameron Regard. The other Cager Classic male MVP couldn't make it, Braylon Littlejohn of Butler High School. Braylon, besides being such a great basketball player, has accepted a football scholarship, and he will be attending Miami of Ohio in the fall. So Braylon Littlejohn of Butler High School cannot be with us this evening, but we still want to get our certificate up to him. Our next inductee has just had an amazing career in soccer, not only as a player but as a coach. His teams have made the WPI-AL playoffs 37 of 39 seasons he's been coaching. So he's done a lot of November coaching in WPI-AL soccer. So let's say hello to Mark Perry.
Thank you. I'm very honored and thrilled to be here tonight and become a member of the Alle-Kiski Valley Sports Hall of Fame, where I joined my father, Jim Perry, as a member of this special group. I would like to thank the committee for selecting me for induction. I would also like to congratulate all the inductees and teams being honored here tonight. All of you have very impressive bios who have made your mark in your sport in the Alle-Kiski Valley and beyond. This is a very special night for me, as the Alle-Kiski Valley is where I grew up. I'm a Springdale guy. Grew up in Cheswick and have been a Dynamo for life, having graduated in 1982. I want to especially thank Mr. Dave Maloney for nominating me for this Hall of Fame. He was my phys ed teacher at Springdale and had already retired as the soccer coach by the time I was in high school. I wish I had had the opportunity to play for this legendary coach when I was in high school. He is an unbelievable person, and I thank him for the nomination. I was a decent player in high school, but I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a soccer coach and follow in my dad's footsteps. I got my first chance to coach when I was a senior in high school, and I tore my ACL about a month before the season. My high school coach, Coach Fuller, let me help coach the team until I was ready to return to action late in the season. I thank him for that opportunity, as I knew then I wanted to have a future in coaching. I was very lucky growing up and starting my coaching career as I was around some great coaches to learn from. I just tried to observe all of them and soak in all the information I could to try to become the best soccer coach I could be. Honestly, I never expected to have the coaching career I have had so far. I would like to thank all the coaches who have come here tonight to support me. All of you have played a very important role and part in the success I've had. I would like to recognize a few coaches here tonight who have been like mentors towards me. First is Bruno Schwartz, gave me my first coaching job in 1986 at North Allegheny. One of the most professional and knowledgeable coaches I know, and over the years has been like a second father to me. Frank Christie helped me make the transition from a boys coach into a girls coach. Best girls coach I've been around easily, and taught me how to deal and handle coaching girls. Just a special individual. And Dave Fortune, who was my top assistant at Fox Chapel. Just a great man who had this special way of coaching, dealing and understanding players, and taught me so much over the years. An incredible human being. Over my 37 years, I have coached at 4 different schools, and they were great schools to coach at. I enjoyed every day at each of them. The toughest decisions I ever had to make was when I had to leave each one of them to go on to the next school. Hampton High School gave me a chance at age 22 to be a head boys soccer coach. And in 1990, we won a Whitfield and state championship, becoming the first team in Hampton history to accomplish that. At the same time, my father won a AAA soccer championship with Fox Chapel. A very special day for our family. I then took the job at Fox Chapel High School, which was my dream job. 15 years, had some great players and some great teams. From there to Central Valley, which was center at the time. Had great people, and they let me coach both the boys and the girls teams at the same time during the fall for 2 years, and we were able to win a state championship in 2013. And I'm currently now at Seneca Valley High School, where I still coach the girls team. We have some great facilities, an awesome athletic director, and we are one of the biggest schools in the WPAL. It's also the school district that I reside in. It has been special to coach so many great players over the years, and even more special to see what they have become as they grew into adults. I've heard from a lot of them over the past few months, which was great. 2 of my favorite players of all time are here tonight, and I want to thank them. John Miller. John scored some amazing goals for us one year as a number 14 seed. We made it all the way to the Whitfield final. And Thomas Kavanaugh, who was my first national All-American at Fox Chapel in 1995. He's an unbelievable player and one of the best players I've ever coached. To be successful, you have to have good assistant coaches as well. I've been so lucky to have the staff I have had. Special thanks for coming tonight to Laura Sowers, who was my assistant for 8 years at Seneca Valley, and played such an important part of our success. Jerry Hare was an assistant on our Whitfield and state championship team at Hampton in 1990, and to Glenn and Monica Taylor, who were my assistants at Central Valley on both the boys and the girls side. I want to thank everyone else who came here tonight on my behalf. From my parents' friends who have seen me grow up over the years, to the neighbors from Stony Brook Drive in Chestwood, where I grew up and was the neighborhood paper boy, to my Tri-County Soccer and Sports Center family, where I've spent a lot of time over the past 30 years, and to Susan Hart, the club administrator of my soccer club, for keeping me in line all these years in that part of my soccer life. Finally, I'd like to thank my family. I have 2 sisters who both graduated from Springdale. Them and their families have been very supportive of me. And finally, to my parents, who are simply the best. My mother is a former teacher at Riverview and one of the most caring, kind, and considerate people you will ever be around. She has done so much for her family, and if there was a Hall of Fame for mothers, she would be in it easily on the first ballot. I'm the luckiest son in the world to have a mom like you. I love you. My father is my best friend. He was my hero growing up and has been my mentor as a coach. We've had some incredible times together, from taking teams to Barcelona, coaching together at the club soccer level, attending soccer conventions all over the United States, doing soccer fan trips to England and golf trips to Pinehurst. These have been some of the best times of my life. I'm very proud to be your son. I know you are very proud of everything I have accomplished in coaching. I could not have done it without you. This is a very special night for me, my family, and friends, and I thank you for inducting me into the Alle-Kiski Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you.
And we should also add that last Saturday night, Mark was inducted into the Western chapter of the Pennsylvania State Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations. One of the highlights of our annual banquets is the issuance of the Courage Award to a high school student athlete who's overcome numerous obstacles and has done their best day in and day out to make a contribution to their school and to their community. Our Courage Award winner this year is Junior Carson Villarreal of Deer Lakes High School. While Carson is making his way up here, I'd like to share with you a feature done by Channel 11, and we thank John Glynn and the folks at Channel 11 for allowing us to use this video to show you what kind of young man Carson is. So sit back and enjoy.
Jersey number 40 on that moment. The Deer Lakes Lancers were playing against Valley High School Friday night, but before the matchup, Carson's teammates hit him with a man. He looked up and grabbed his horse collar. He took the coach to his leg. He took Carson's leg. There was a walk from there. He took it out. And he went on to score 6 points that night. There's a their video of them crying war. Carson has Down syndrome, and his proud mom, Anna, says that he's been practicing night and day, waiting for this opportunity. I've never seen such team collaboration between both teams. And I would say Coach Belzer was amazing, so let's just put him out there and see what he can do. And when the game ended, Carson was handing out high fives and hugs, something his teammates won't soon forget.
Our Allegheny-Kiski Local Council 2024 Courage Award, Carson Villarreal. Carson. Our next inductee had a fabulous basketball career, particularly at Apollo Ridge, where she led the Vikings to the 1991 Class 2A WPI-AL Championship. And you know, we haven't had a WPI-AL winner since. We've got a lot of finalists in between that time, but let's welcome to the Hall of Fame, Apollo Ridge's Shane Bartha.
Good evening. First, I'd like to start by thanking the board for my induction this evening. I'm very honored to be standing here with all of these accomplished individuals. Congratulations to all of you. This induction is particularly special to me because my father and I will be one of only 3 father-daughter inductees. I'd also like to congratulate all the student athletes and good luck in your next chapter. I was at work when I received the call to accept my induction. As surprised and honored as I was, the first thing I thought about was this speech. And here we are. I grew up in a very sports-oriented family. I can remember a time when my siblings and I didn't have a ball in our hands. This is how I developed my love for the game of basketball, which continues to this day. But that being said, I know I'm not standing here alone tonight accepting this award. There have been many others who have supported me along the way. I've had a few coaches throughout the years who have helped guide me, but specifically one I couldn't manage to get away from. He would push and push to the point where I'd want to say enough already, or other choice words, but I knew that wouldn't end well. Especially because he wasn't just my basketball coach, he was my softball coach. I saw him in the halls of school, and I saw him at home. Hi, Dad. The only choice words that I would have now would be thank you for pushing me. He helped mold me into the player that I was. Thank you all for all of your hard work, dedication, and all the lives you've changed coaching. A special thank you to Assistant Coach Stewart for helping me hold my tongue all those years. To my teammates, especially my 1991 Whitfield team, thank you. We have all played a special role on the court and worked as a team. We always have one goal in mind to win, and that's what we did. Also, a special thank you to my sister Jennifer, who's here tonight. I never properly thanked you for finishing the game that night as I watched from the bench fouled out. And Brandon, thanks for being here tonight. A few last thank yous to my mom. Your love and support didn't go unnoticed. Thank you for always showing up for our kids, never missing a game, having uniforms cleaned, and dinner on the table. You also somehow managed to keep all of the arguments to a minimum. We started them, she ended them. I had a crazy idea one time that I was going to coach. I thought if I could play, I could coach. I coached my one daughter's team. We went 1-15. The only game we won was the game I didn't coach. My other daughter, in 4th grade, I had to spell the ball for 4 minutes so that we would win. A lot of parents weren't very happy. That was the end of my coaching career. I never looked back. To my 2 fun-loving daughters, thank you for choosing to play sports and allowing me to gain a new career path, repping and coaching from the stands. I've enjoyed watching you play over the years and grow into the amazing girls that you are. I'd like to thank Mr. Gatto and all the other sports writers who cover high school basketball and do a fabulous job. Again, thank you for a wonderful evening.
Our next student honoree is Abigail Abby Johns of Kiski Area High School. Abby is a member of the National Honor Society. She's made the high honor roll every quarter, and she's part of the PennDOT Innovation Challenge District 12 Champion State Finalist in 2021. She's a 4-year varsity letter winner in volleyball and basketball, 4-year varsity team captain, and 1,000-point score in basketball. Second team all-conference, 5A basketball as a freshman, and Valley News Dispatch third team in basketball, also as a 9th grader. As a sophomore, she was second team all-conference in volleyball and second team in basketball, third team in basketball for the Valley News Dispatch, and second team in the Leader Times. She was on the Rural Tip-Off Tournament, All-Tournament Team, and the Kiski Christmas Tournament All-Tournament Team. Valley News Dispatch Athlete of the Week in January of 2022. She was third team all-conference in 3A volleyball to start off her junior year. She later made first team all-conference in basketball. Valley News Dispatch first team in basketball, Post-Gazette. WPIA All-Star Big 60 Showcase, 5-star rating, and numerous accolades for junior all-star basketball as a 2024 player to watch. This past year, second team all-conference in volleyball and all-star selection for the Westmoreland County Volleyball All-Star Game. First team all-conference 5A in basketball. Valley News Athlete of the Week in January 2024. Post-Gazette Section All-Star, Valley News Dispatch First Team All-Star, and the Cajun Classic East MVP, and the Ronball Classic All-Star Selection, which will take place later this month. Her hobbies are reading the Bible, traveling, hanging with friends, and photography. And she has been class secretary for 2 years, senior committee in grade 12, student council for 3 years, Cavalier Leadership Council for 4 years, the Bible Club for 4 years, the Key Club for 3 years, the Chinese Club 9 through 12. What dialect do you know best? Chinese. Mandarin? Yeah. Okay. A Horticulture Club, grades 11 and 12, and the Fellowship for Christian Athletes, grades 11 and 12, and captain year 12. She spent more than 450 hours in the last 4 years volunteering in and out of school through the Kiski Valley Community Church, the Sunday morning tech team, Sunday night youth work, nursery helper, food box sorting and loading in fall and winter of 20 and 21, out of school service as a Kiski area youth basketball and volleyball helper, and Sunday morning clock, coach, referee, and camp counselor. And your future plans? Don't give up the ship. She will be playing basketball at Shippensburg University for Kiski Area High School. And our last student honoree this evening from Knox High School, Giona Lavarini. Giona Lavarini, a junior, won the state finals in the 100 breaststroke. She is a champion and brought home a state title back to Knox High School. So Giona Lavarini, state champion in the 100 breaststroke. And we congratulate her, and she's our final student honoree this evening. Giona? Our final inductee in the evening, a name synonymous with successful basketball in Alle-Kiski sports history, Bryce Flannery, 1998 graduate of Valley High School. Continues with the Flannery name to considerable amount of basketball success. In fact, he's one of our few inductees who made and played pro basketball. And he is, it's a milestone right now, our 400th overall inductee. Bryce?
Wow. Thank you, God is good. It's an honor to be here with the fine people today. First, I'd like to thank God for bringing me this far in my life. I'd like to thank my family for always believing in me, supporting me through all my years of playing experiences. I'd like to thank my wife, Rachel, for continuing to push me and challenge me to be my very best each and every day. And even though she didn't know me then, she continues to be my rock, my soundboard, and my best friend. I love you. I'd like to thank my former high school teachers who pushed me just a little further to be great in the classroom. I also like to thank the teachers who really found the extra time in helping me grow as a student athlete during my teenage years. And to my teammates, you played an integral part in my career, not just in high school, but middle school as well. You were undefeated 10-0 record playing in the Tri-City JC's tournament team, to the Gosby Goose Prior Summer Basketball League. Shout out to Corey Green. We had the best team in Summer League basketball history for Kentucky. Honestly, without you guys, I won't be up here today. So this is our moment to share. I'd like to give a memorable acknowledgement to a couple of places that really pushes all of us to be that much better in sports and ball harder, not just from an organized standpoint, but from the community, neighborhood standpoint. Thank you to Jay Sylvester's Alleyway, playing 3-on-3 until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning on the weekends. Thank you to the Black brothers, Brian, Spanky, Matt, and Nick, driveway and hooping. Man, you couldn't find any more competitive places to play. To the man who brought it all to light for me as a player, the man who saw greatness in me at such a young age. Not only did he believe in me, but seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself. The coach who took a chance on a scrawny little fourth grader, putting on his 6th grade boys team. From that point on, little B Flynn had arrived. We were the Georgetown Warriors from the New Kingston YMCA in 1990. Coach Jairus Ballard, I want to thank you for always believing in me, helping find something in me that was truly hidden in me. Thank you, Coach. To another man who pushed me to be great as a middle school ball player in '94, he pushed us all so hard we tied for the best record in middle school history, Coach John Cope. Coach Coe, thank you for being a tough coach for all of us where being average was unacceptable. Your teamness and expectations for every practice and game were set high, and for that I thank you. We thank you. You know, being a high school basketball coach now and a baseball coach and being on the administration team for the past 18 years, I often thought of the Bible scripture from Luke chapter 12, verse 48. To whom is given, much is expected. I truly understand what that ultimately means now. My gifts were not just mine to hold on to. They were a gift from God, a gift to share with younger generations to follow, I've coached, mentored, and role modeled for. It's been truly a blessing to give back and share the experiences since that coach seen something in me that a skinny little fourth grader dreamed on becoming someone special. And for that, I'm forever grateful and honored. Lastly, thank you to the Alle-Kiski Sports Hall of Fame Committee. Thank you for acknowledging my talent and efforts while serving as a high school athlete during my high school career. Thank you for acknowledging not just my basketball career, but your services from younger generations of athletes, leaders, most importantly, scholars. And to New Ken, Valley of the Old, this night belongs to us. We're taking this one home tonight. Thank you and God bless.
And just a reminder, we have over 50 years worth of plaques and photographs. You saw some of them while you're eating from our previous Hall of Fame inductees. Anytime you're in downtown Trenton on the weekdays between, let's say, 9 and 4, maybe 9 and 5, stop by the Murphy Building on Corbett Street in Trenton, right by the railroad tracks, and visit our permanent Hall of Fame gallery where we highlight our previous inductees. And also, circle the date, May 17th, 2025. We will be back here at the Shriner Center with our 54th induction ceremony. And now to close out tonight's event, let's call in again our chairman for the benediction, Larry Lutz.
First, how about a big hand for the face of Alle-Kiski Valley Sports and our longtime MC, Mr. George Gaeta. Thank you all for coming. If we could just bow our heads for a final benediction. Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful evening and the chance you gave us to remember our past, to celebrate our present, and to be inspired by our future. Thank you for the blessings you bestowed upon us and the wonderful evening we had this evening. Everybody have a safe trip home. God bless all of you. And thank you so much for your support and for coming to visit with us tonight.